Good evening, Rochdale Village residents. This is John Ferretti. I'm a resident of Rochdale Village and co-host of the Keep Rochdale Affordable podcast. I'm just putting up a short live video to draw attention to an important development in our fight to keep Rochdale affordable and our fight for specifically for New York State aid. New York State as the governing entity that oversees Rochdale Village as a New York State Mitchell-Lama cooperative to provide real funding for the maintenance and upkeep and improvement of our community. As you know, we're facing a huge debt crisis, and all we're ever told is how much money we owe, and that there's no alternative but to pay these debts. And we've been told repeatedly by our management company specifically that Rochdale doesn't receive any state aid. In the last 2 years, we found out that that is not the case. In 2024, April 19th and 20th of 2024, there was $80 million passed in the New York State Assembly and the Senate and signed into law by Governor Hochul. That $80 million fund, until recently, we didn't really know what happened to that money or what were the terms of and conditions of the application process. Only by residents reaching out to the New York State Senate Housing Chair, Brian Kavanaugh, and his office were we able to find out that there is an actual application process for Rochdale Village and any other New York City and New York State run Mitchell-Lama cooperative to apply for this $80 million in state aid that is supposed to go to support these communities and improve these communities and pay for things like the kinds of construction projects that they constantly rattle off at the board meetings as the reason why we're in such a crushing debt load. So in any case, I just want to show people, because sometimes you can post stuff online and people see screenshots and they don't really understand what it means. So I think it's important for people to take some time. This is a short video where I can show screenshots of exactly what is going on. So I'm going to share my screen and show you the email that I received from State Senator Brian Kavanaugh's office and what they told us. So let me just share my screen quickly. Okay. Okay, let me just make sure that's on the screen. That's big enough so people can see it. Okay, I'm gonna have to read it, but it's on the screen, and I'll put it, and it is in a post in Real Deal Rochdale. It's also in a post on my page, and it's on a post in the Keep Rochdale Affordable Facebook group. So in any case, the email this is the email that I forwarded to the board of directors. But this was the email I received from Hallie Chu, who is the Governor Kavanaugh's Housing Committee Director. And so what she said was that she thanks us for reaching out. She's sorry to hear about the financial struggles here at Rochdale Village, and she provided some information and potential resources for Mitchell-Lama developments. She names the Mitchell-Lama program. It's called MLLP, and that they are accepting applications. The program administers the $80 million capital appropriation that the legislature secured in the last fiscal year 24-25 enacted state budget. The purpose of the funding is for the preservation of Mitchell-Lamas. I was able to confirm with a colleague at the State Senate Finance team that funding from last year's allocation is still available. Applications are accepted on a rolling basis, and you can find the spring 2025 term sheet with information about program eligibilities, and she gives the HCR website. I would encourage Rochdale Village to apply, since this is the way to access Mitchell-Lama preservation funding from last year's budget. So I'm just going to stop sharing the screen and show you the actual application. Okay, so here is the application. See, it says New York State Mitchell-Lama program. Let me make it a little bigger. provides financing for the preservation of state and city supervised Mitchell-Lama developments, including those that are part of the HFA's acquired portfolio. As part of the state's commitment to increase and preserve the number of affordable housing opportunities for its residents, HDR makes capital available for the preservation and improvement of these properties. Projects must comply with any applicable Mitchell-Lama income and regulatory requirements. Actual award amounts must be recommended by HDR staff and approved by the HDR Credit Committee. So eligible uses: preservation and improvement of rental and cooperative Mitchell-Lama properties located in New York State and supervised by the City of New York or the State of New York. So in any case, it also talks about who's eligible. Eligible applicants: not-for-profit corporations, charitable organizations, or wholly owned subsidiaries of such corporations or organizations, cooperative boards, or limited partnerships. It also says that there is subordinate second mortgage financing available for projects securing first mortgages through conventional bank loans, which means that toxic predatory debt owed to banks like Wells Fargo can be we can receive subordinate funding, second mortgages, to refinance these mortgages. Now, I'm not an expert on any of this stuff. I'm learning myself as we go along, but it seems to me that Rochdale Village will be eligible for these funds. And it's also important that we get busy on this right now. And that's why I reached out to the board of directors soon after letting residents know about these developments, and that we were able to find out the name of the program, how to apply, and all of that, and what the requirements are. But much more research still has to be done on this to find out exactly how much of this $80 million Rochdale Village can apply for, and what the process is with HDR. They are in contact with HDR. I'm sure we're going to be having meetings with HDR very soon. And so in any case, I just want to make sure people understand that the president of the board of directors did respond to this email, and I'm going to put our email up on the screen as well. And the email just says, "Good day. This email is to acknowledge receipt of your correspondence. It will be addressed accordingly. Regards, Jean Hall, board president." And she did respond in a very prompt time, and I appreciate her prompt attention to applying for this aid that we desperately need, and that we should have known about long ago. And it's important that we correct that now. And I'll give her credit for taking steps to have the board meet to talk about this. So it's a lot of times things can get lost, and important things that are posted, they just throw in the feed, and people don't realize how important they are. And I think residents need to be honest with ourselves that this is a process that we're all learning in, and that without the independent action of residents in seeking out this information, we would not know about a lot of things that we should know about. And this is important. And residents need to continue to be active and need to not be demoralized about how long this whole process has gone on and how hopeless many people, certainly on the management company side, make it seem. It's not hopeless. We can fight. We are taxpayers. We are voters. We are residents here, and we have power when we unite and when we take action to find out what sources of revenue are available, to have New York State, who is responsible, is the landlord, in effect, for all the Mitchell-Lamas in New York State, take responsibility for making sure they provide financing that actually keeps these Mitchell-Lamas affordable. Also important that $850 million is currently being proposed in the state budget that's being negotiated right now in Albany. And that $850 million is being tied up because Kathy Hochul has engaged in a tug of war with the state assembly over a mask ban. She wants to ban masks in New York State. So a lot of projects like these very important projects, $850 million that can go to fund and rehabilitate a lot of these Mitchell-Lama cooperatives, is being tied up in the state Senate and Assembly because of one person, because of Kathy Hochul. So I'm going to share my screen. I think it's pretty important that our residents begin to turn our focus to the person who is singularly responsible for the fact that Rochdale over many years has not received the kind of funding that we need. So this is the website where you can contact the governor. Okay, it's governor.ny.gov/content/governor contact form. You can send a message directly to the governor on this website. And then at the bottom, you see you can contact them by phone. Their hours are 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. The telephone number is 518-474-8390. So I think that we definitely need to start shifting our focus from the politicians who we've been in contact with to put the pressure on the person most responsible for funding not being provided to communities like ours. I'd like to thank everyone for your time. I said it will be a short video, and that's exactly what I plan to do. I'm a little bit long-winded, so short for me is 11 minutes apparently. In any case, I'd like to thank everybody for taking some time on a holiday weekend to discuss these issues. All of this information is posted in Real Deal Rochdale on my page and in the Keep Rochdale Affordable Facebook group, so you can take a look for yourself. Thank you so much for your time. Everybody have a safe night, and we'll talk real soon.